Hey, you guys, what's going on?
What's up, everybody?
So me and Ty are here. I took a business trip. This is my, oops, sorry, I hit you in the face.
It's okay.
This is my astro business trip. Well, our astro business trip. So you guys, we have been planning, calculating, collecting data, doing everything. We've got something in the works. The code name is Avon. Right? So don't ask why, don't ask how, but the code name is Avon.
You'll understand later.
You will. So we've been working on that. But anyway, today we just wanted to get up in here. We wanted to talk about the community, what it was like, what it's like now, where it's going, new people coming in, old people who were here, like the OGs, like you know, myself and Ty. We wanted to talk about readers, and we just wanted to give like our own little analysis. She's a Virgo sun, I'm a Virgo Venus and Mercury, so we wanted to analyze, look at the data, and just, you know, chop it the fuck up. So
and also, just because so many people are like getting into spirituality and astro this year, we felt like this would be really good to kind of give some guidance too on how to navigate the community and what to look for, because there's just so much content now that it can be kind of hard to like sift through.
That is a point. So also for people who are trying to learn astro still, spirit, you know, tarot, whatever it is you're trying to learn, we've got something for you, because I know how hard it is to Google things nowadays. You got the Cosmopolitan, the fucking Bustle, the Newsweek articles coming up talking about astrology, and it's not the shit that we grew up on.
Right.
Not grew up on, but you get the point. Not the shit that we learned. So, but we got some shit coming. We're gonna get all that shit together for you guys. Don't even fucking worry about it.
Okay, so first thing we want to talk about is what the community used to look like, because it is so vastly different. So you want to talk a little bit about the astro community first?
The community used to be bullshit. Like, I'm not even finna front with y'all right now. Like, that community used to be, it just used to be so divided. Like, when I got there were people who, bro, when I got into the community, I knew so much more than people who were already there, and that surprised me. But that's just because I got the Virgo placement, so I'm really good at Googling. Googling is literally a skill. Anything she doesn't know, she'll automatically Google it. Like, really quick in a hurry, she'll just Google it. So that's what Virgo placements do. So I'm just really good at researching through Google, right? I have Virgo Mercury to the 9th degree, Sagittarius degree, so that's research, so I'm great at that. So I came into the community. People who wanted to learn from me had welcoming arms. You know, I wanted to learn from them. And then people who felt like they knew more than me, or people who felt like I didn't know enough. Those were the people who were unwelcome. I've told this story 1,000 times, but it was very, very hard for me at first. Like, I got a lot of backlash, a lot of heat just from tweeting my own ideas, all types of shit.
Wow.
People who bullied me then, they apologize to me now, because now they know, you know, I'm that motherfucking bitch. Don't even play with me.
Period.
It's crazy. But the community was different. So one thing I realized about the community, it's kind of changed. So back then, it was people, you know, a bunch of astro enthusiasts. There wasn't that many of us, and also there wasn't that many black enthusiasts. There were a lot of white people. I can't really speak for the other races, but I know for sure there were a lot of whites, not a lot of blacks. Now there are a ton of black people learning astro, learning tarot, learning numerology, getting into spirituality. That shit is crazy. I love to see it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that too, like how, especially like with readers or like herbalists or the shops, there were a lot of white, it was very white centered, or when you would Google spirituality or astro or any of those things, the first things that would come up are white people. Whereas now if you go on social media, you're gonna see hella people of color in this work, and I think that's beautiful as well, just because a lot of us come from Christian backgrounds where it wasn't necessarily accepted, and now we're like stepping into this space where we're embracing all parts of ourselves in our spirituality. Another thing I was gonna say about like the tarot community, or just like the spiritual community in general, I noticed back then, like people who did tarot, like they weren't really blending the signs like that. Like they would just do the readings, or they would do like some general guidance for, you know, all of the different signs once a month. But now it feels like there's like so much content being pumped out constantly for the signs, like for tarot readers, which I find a little bit interesting, because they weren't doing that as much back then.
When you say blending the signs, what do you mean?
Well, blending astrology and tarot, if that makes sense.
Yes,
they weren't doing that as much back then.
That's really popular now.
Yeah.
That's very popular.
And I've heard some astrologers actually criticize that, because they're like, well, no, you know, it's like an actual system. And usually when astrologers are doing like horoscopes, it's based on the rising sign actually. Well, I think it's cool, you know, if you are an astrologer and you are into tarot, because I do both tarot and astrology readings. But I guess if you don't know too much, I think it should be very clear to whoever it is that you are doing the work for, or on your page, like, hey, I'm not an astrologer. I just like tapping into the energies of the signs.
Most people get it confused. Most people get. I've had so many people come to me and they're just like, "Can you do a reading for me?" And I'm just like, "Yeah. What's your birth time?" They're like, "What? I thought you just make cards." Or they'll be like, "Can you tell me what's your opinion on the Knight of Swords?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." But going back to I was gonna say something. Hold on, let me think about it. What was I gonna say? But just continuing on with that conversation about the community, it's changed a lot.
You know what? You know what else has changed? The fucking TikTokers on the spiritual TikTok, the witch talk.
Oh,
what the fuck is that?
I've never seen it. You have to tell me about it.
Oh my god, they're like,
Marin is the only person. Like, she's the only person on TikTok who I know is just, I know a lot of people doing astrology and stuff on TikTok, but Marin is the only one that I know that I've seen. Everybody else, I don't even know. I don't know the witch talkers. I don't know.
Well, witch talk was actually like heavily criticized because they were posting these like 16, 17-year-old girls like posting like spells and love spells and rituals. Okay. Teaching people how to just do all of these different things to like curse people and hex people. And people were like, oh my god.
Full stop.
People were like, oh my god.
Full stop. I don't know about all of that, but the love stuff, I think it's cute.
Yeah, it is cute. If it's done responsibly. If it's done responsibly. You can't just be binding people. You know what I mean?
I feel like not everybody is subject, like, what's not subdued. I feel like not everybody can even be binded. Like, my homegirl did a love spell on this nigga. Girl, I mean, she tried. Shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, like, me, myself, personally, I don't know. Sometimes I used to be kind of scared, like, oh my gosh, what if somebody tries to do something to me? But it's just like, I'm that motherfucking bitch. Like, your power is not going to supersede my power on any given day, period. Like, but however, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying I just don't, it's not even feasible that it would be for every person. Because you remember, it's plenty of witches done hex Donald Trump and this, and that. But I mean,
this nigga still here.
I ain't really seeing nothing out the water happen to that nigga. I mean, that nigga still gonna be prison. He's still gonna be rich. He's still gonna be white. So I'm like, again, I'm saying it just, I don't see it. I don't see everybody being susceptible.
Right.
Susceptible was the word. That was the word I was trying to think of.
I think the criticism was like, hey, people are looking at this content maybe who are new to spirituality and who don't really know that much. So you have to be careful about, which we're going to get into in a little bit, but you have to be careful about the information that you're taking in or what you're actually trying, or at least put some type of disclaimer, if you are posting those things. But these were like teenagers doing it. So of course they're not going to do shit like that because they just don't know any better yet.
And then speaking about information, you said being cautious about that. Back in Twitter, back in the day, people used to say, "Oh, Jade is expressing misinformation because I had my own interpretations. They were not wrong."
They said that?
People used to always say I was spreading misinformation because I was just able to think of things on my own. But up until that point, people who were not actual astrologers, they never seen anybody coming up with their own interps. Everybody just used to regurgitate information and share that way. So since I have my own interps, it was seen as misinformation. But I said all that to say, nowadays, sometimes I used to didn't get it. Like I didn't get it with myself, but like nowadays I do sometimes see things and I'll be like, that is not true. Mars, that is not Mars.
Yes.
But I remember where I was when people used to say, oh, that's wrong. But I will admit there are times where something can be
just off,
blatantly. I don't want to just say wrong and be rude, but I will say it's not fitting in with the context. Where there's a way better way to say that, and I'm like, beginners will see this, they'll take it in, and they'll have the wrong idea. But see, don't get me wrong. When people used to do that shit to me back then, that was on some weird ass, fake ass vigilante shit. Like, you're gonna hurt the masses. You're misleading these people. But the stuff I'm talking about, I don't see people misleading anybody as far as that. It's more just like this little piece of information right here could definitely be a lot better.
And that's
like,
just
my petty Virgo.
That's like, when people are like, oh, well, who gets to gatekeep these kinds of things? Because of course astrology, there's like traditional astrology, modern astrology, everybody has their different way of interpreting and looking at the information. But at the same time, there's a system in place, like for either. So there's certain things that, like you said, are just
right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
But one thing that helps, I'm going to always remember where I was when it came to stuff like that. So whenever my followers they'll tell me, Jade, is this accurate? Or Jade, what do you think of this? Sometimes I don't always agree with them, but I never tell them this isn't wrong. I mean, this is wrong, or no, that's not right, you can't use it. I'll just say, well, I disagree, because I still, at the end of the day, no matter what I say, no matter what anybody says, whether it be, I almost said tarology, tarot, astrology, you are allowed to have your own interpretations. You just are. That's what astrology is. You
Absolutely.
are allowed. One day there might be a person who says Mars doesn't represent physical activity. No, that's just not right, even though I definitely think that's wrong. But I'm not going to be down your ass, be like, this bitch is wrong. I'm not going to say that shit, because bitch, you can think whatever you want to think. You know, astrology, we can't even really just, you know, prove that shit. Like, I can prove right now that both of our hair is fake. I can pull both this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But with astrology, I can't. So you can think what, you know, I'm not just encouraging people just to think any old dilly-dally thing, but what I'm saying is we shouldn't police interpretations to that super narrow.
To the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty.
Okay, and I think that's where like ethics comes in for readers, or for people who like want to get into this work. Like, where are you getting your information from? I feel like as long as you can source everything and back it up, you're good. But if you can't back your shit up and if you can't source it, I don't really think that.
Speaking of sources, sometimes that was another thing.
Yeah.
They used to ask me, Jade, where's your source? And I'd be like, I am the source. Not even on no godly shit, not no king shit. I am the source because I looked at these two things, or I looked at this, I observed it in real life, and I put together a fucking definition.
Right, but at the end of the day, like when it comes to sources as well, what I mean by that, like you can do that because you took the time to research astro. Like you have knowledge, whereas there are some people who would like just get all this information from social media or online and then go and make inaccurate statements because they didn't really accurately learn it or look at valuable
they didn't
sources.
learn it, they just read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, I think that's the difference between like, because you can be the source once you have that expertise, especially because
Okay, I like that.
Astro is about experience. Like, I don't really feel like you can even really interpret charts as well until you get into interpreting more and more and more, because that's how you start to pick up more patterns and notice different things.
I like the way you put that when it comes from expertise. Now that isn't to say that if you're a beginner,
No.
You know,
But you're learning, and that's good. You know what I mean?
I think now, branching off of the learning thing, the community is a lot more oriented towards learning than it is who's right, who's wrong. You know, people are learning together, and that's what I love. You know, the nodes are in Sagittarius and Gemini right now. That is the learning axis. Sagittarius and Gemini, students, teachers, classrooms, higher learning, higher knowledge, conversation. All of those things are, you know, one and the same essentially. And so the North Node is in Gemini.
Yeah.
And so whenever you have that Geminian energy, it fosters more. It's actually more of a learning environment, in my opinion, than Sagittarius can be. Because with Sagittarius, that's usually where you have somebody who is the expert and all your information is coming from kind of one place. Sometimes, but then with the Gemini,
it's exchanging the ideas. Everybody
represents
just,
options.
Yeah.
There's options. It's coming from everywhere. Like your girlfriend can come in here right now and be like, oh, but you guys, I also heard this, and we would just go with that.
Yeah.
But if it was Sag, it would be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, I'm not saying that Sag people are like that. I'm just describing the archetype.
So, next thing we want to touch on is what do we see coming for the astro community, spiritual community in general, because it is booming, it is growing at such a rapid pace. And I feel like, especially with all the Aquarian energy that we're experiencing this year, me and Jade were talking about this, there's going to be an influence of social groups. She was saying cliques, and then I said like even cults.
So with these aqua influences, you know, these are long-term transits. Well, Jupiter isn't really a long-term transit, but it is longer than all the other personal planets, right? And Jupiter is not a personal planet, so it is longer. It's about a year and some change, right? So anyway, Saturn will be in Aquarius for the next 2 years. Jupiter will be in Aquarius for about the next year and some change. And so with that, I think the way the community is right now. So right now we're one big community. But you will slowly start to see us go into divisions. You'll have, now it's already like this,
I agree.
but we still talk to each other often.
So you feel like it's not going to be as intersected as it is right now? Because I feel like everybody knows each other from different spaces within the community. Like modern astrologers know each other, and then tarot readers,
I talk to so many modern astrologers, they talk to me, etc., vice versa. I talk to tarot readers, but as we go on, because y'all have to understand, astro is booming right now. I need you to understand when I say
A
booming.
$2.2 billion industry.
Let's not forget when I said in 2018, I was like, Astro's gonna go mainstream. And people were like, now people DM me and they're like, I saw Astro and Tarot in a store window. Like, yeah, I know. Like, y'all didn't see that coming. It was obvious. But anyway, so right now we're intersected, right? But with these Aquarian transits, so y'all, Aqua represents groups, it represents the community, it represents cliques, it represents people who like to fit into a very particular space, right? Like we have a Facebook group or something, you know, a very particular space. So as we go on and when more people join the community, I really do feel like we'll go from all this intersection to strictly modern, or it'll be modern versus it already is modern versus traditional, but we're nice about it. But I do feel like as we go on, it'll be more modern versus traditional, tarot versus astrology,
especially like with that Mars and a square Saturn. I've already been seeing that like different groups like starting to argue with one another, or like just disagreeing a lot more and like kind of checking each other.
So Mars is currently square Saturn at the time of this video. Saturn is in Aquarius. Those are the groups. Mars represents that tension, that argument. Then it's a square, so that's going to cause difficulty, right? And then Mars is in Taurus, so Taurus represents your personal values, personal beliefs. So of course a modern astrologer versus a traditional, they'd have different core values and beliefs, you see what I'm saying? So I can definitely see that. But what I wanted to really touch on real quick, I think even these groups will become even smaller. So you'll have, this is just an example, you'll have modern and traditional, and then within that there will be their own cliques.
Groups within groups.
Yeah, cliques within cliques. But I use the word clique specifically because I do think it'll be very cliquey, like you guys can't be here, like click. Maybe not even like you guys can't be here, but just you'll feel the vibe.
You can't sit with us.
You'll feel Aquarius energy. They love. When I say Aqua energy, like the archetype,
it's like I'm exclusive.
They love exclusive groups, whereas Leo, which is the opposite of Aquarius, Leo loves exclusive like products, items, more material things. Where Aquarius, it's more of a people aspect.
Yeah, Leos are a lot more friendly.
We are.
Than Aquarians.
Well, actually,
I feel like it really depends. Honestly, I feel like Leos are a lot more open.
Oh yeah, we'll say anything.
Aquarians are very like.
There was something I wanted to tell you this morning, but I'm like, it's a secret. I can't say anything. Like
what?
It's just some shit, but like it's nothing important. Well, it's my own personal stuff, but because like when I'm friends with somebody, like as a Leo, I always want to, guess what? Let me tell you this thing that I really wasn't supposed to say, but I want to tell you anyway because when we're friends, I want to tell you everything. That's just how I am. And we were just talking this morning, and I was like, just ignore it, don't say it, just keep going. I know you now her Scorpio Mars has to know. She's gonna badger me.
When we're done recording this, like she's not leaving until she tells me.
I'm not gonna tell her. I said I was gonna get better at this, and I have.
Anywho, okay, so what else do I see coming? I do see more people doing tarot and astrology, but actually like having all of the astro knowledge and the tarot knowledge. So it's like, it won't just be like, hey, Geminis, I see somebody coming for you next week. It's gonna be like, hey, Geminis, you have this going on in this house, you have this aspecting this, like, this is what's going on. It's gonna be a lot more, what's the word, like, put together, instead of...
Integrated?
Yeah, integrated, yeah, because there's kind of this disconnect right now. I feel like there aren't too many people that do tarot and astrology that are like very, very in-depth with both of them. So I'm interested to see how that progresses over time as well. I also think we'll be seeing a lot more spiritual shops coming, like a lot more physical stores.
Saturn and Aquarius.
Just more people coming into the real world, because right now we're very social media oriented, but more people are going to be creating space for themselves, because really all the shops that we see now are very small, very chill, but it's about to blow up.
I could even see a spiritual mini mall one day.
Mini mall?
Yeah. Different astrology shops, but for that to happen, we would need an expansion of product. Right now, you go into any spiritual shop, they all have the same thing. Crystals, book, incense, cards, maybe the only astrology book you'll ever read, and that's it. And maybe a little
Stop, not the only astrology book you'll ever read.
They'll have it. I like that book.
But that's a great book.
But still, so for spirituality to expand more in the real world, we need more product. I'm kind of sick of seeing the same things in every spiritual shop. It's not their fault, it's just me personally. It's just like, what else can we put here?
And our generation is definitely going to do that. We're so creative and innovative, and I'm already seeing so many new ideas blooming and coming to life. So I believe in us. I know we can do it.
Speaking of believing in us, let me say something real quick. Let me just drink this right here, and then I will say something. I want to admit where I was wrong about something. I feel like I was
serious.
What? Serious face. So a couple of weeks ago, me and my friend were on Twitter. This was a public exchange. I won't say their name just because, but we were just talking about, so tarot and astrology is gonna blow up, right?
Right.
But because the tarot community is much more oversaturated than the astrology community. The reason why, it is a lot easier to pick up tarot cards and just start reading and feel the message and try to relay it and learn the cards. It's a lot easier than learning astrology, in which you have more than just understanding the basic meaning of the card, but you've got the aspect, the house, the planet, the degrees, oh my gosh, like all that, right? So more people gravitate towards tarot. So that being said, there are a lot of people. There was once upon a time where many people were making their soul living from tarot. And that was working out great. And for a lot of people, it still is working out great. But as the community grows more oversaturated, me and this person, we were publicly expressing how we kind of felt like it may not be possible for as many people to keep tarot as their sole income source moving forward. Notice I said sole income. I didn't say you couldn't make anything from it. I didn't say this couldn't still be your passion. I'm not saying that. I'm not killing dreams or anything like that. Just looking at it from a realistic standpoint. Because way back 2019, 2018, most of us, we were quitting our day jobs, doing this shit full time, right?
Right.
And as the newbies come in, they see this, they want to do this, they want to make this their main profession.
It's not as easy.
It's not as easy anymore. That's what I meant. It's so oversaturated. However, me and Ty, what we're working on will change that. What we're working on will change that exact opinion that I just expressed. It will change that. It will benefit that. I'm like, you know what? Wow, I really saw a problem, and without trying to, I have found a solution for it.
Right.
What we're doing,
right.
Obviously we can't give you guys a lot of details right now, but we have
Avon.
We really found a solution. Remember, Avon's just the code name.
I'm really excited for that too, because like you were saying, I want to see more people be able to do this as their full-time gig, because we deserve that.
Yes.
Spiritual people have such incredible gifts and abilities that are so refined. Not that many people in the world are into what we are into, and not that many people in the world will sit and dedicate the time to study these esoteric sciences. So first of all, if you do this or if you study this shit, like, give yourself a pat on the back. You're doing amazing, sweetie. Like, this shit's not easy, so. But yeah, so I'm excited for you guys to just see everything play out. And if you are struggling, like, just know you're gonna be okay.
You will be okay, but I think it's also important to remember, because I talked about this in a tweet a while back. I wish I had it pulled up, but I don't feel like I want to look for it. But I talked about how, if you have been trying to do something spiritual, cult related, even astrology, and I'm not saying this from like I said, I'm not talking y'all from the perspective of somebody who is just super on top and it's great for me, you might as well give it up. What did Nicki Minaj say in that one song? She was like, itty bitty piggy, she was like, give it up, I win, you lose. I'm not saying it like that at all, because I cannot be the only astrologer in the world, period. I'm not even doing readings right now. Like, I can't, we need everybody. We need everybody's opinion.
And everyone has like different levels of expertise, and they study different things. Yes, and a lot of people study different things within astro. Everyone's not going to use transits. Everyone's not going to do solar returns. Everyone's not going to be into astrocartography. And I love that and appreciate that, because it creates more space for everyone to find the specific thing that they can help the community with.
Correct. My only thing was, if you've been doing it and you realize that it's not really your passion and it's become more of a monetary thing, that's when it's time to move on. Because for some people, they started out, it was a hobby, it was a passion, and they did make the attempts to make money for it, make a living wage, and sometimes that, just being realistic, sometimes that doesn't always work out. And so if you find that it's not working out and you have lost the passion to continue it in that way, now if you still have a passion, you don't stop for a damn second.
Keep
But if
going.
the passion is gone, the original fire you had putting into like the business aspect, it's okay to move on. It's okay that it didn't really work out like that. You can still do it. It just can't be your only thing as far as taking care of yourself.
And get creative too. Like, even if you're not doing readings, what can you teach people? Because especially with that Gem Sag energy that's going to be playing out with the next eclipses, hello, you be teaching people, you can be helping people.
Teaching people anything right now is profitable. Like I was telling somebody, I was like, with the North Node in Gemini, I really can't walk in heels all that well. I've been teaching myself, but even just teaching a $20 1 hour how to walk in heels class.
They have those.
They do.
They literally have those. There's something for
Anything.
everything. Like, if you know how to do something very well, teach people. Like, even if you're not doing it all structured.
Get your worth. We don't mind talking about money and stuff like that, because people deserve to be paid for whatever the fuck they're doing. People deserve to be paid for that. So we want you guys to have money in your pocket. We wanna see you living good, you know? Like, and I've already said this, but like with Uranus and Taurus, many black people are about to be on the come up financially, materially, and I'm not ashamed to say that, talk about it, whatever, because I feel like black people, and this is not like a jab to anybody else or anything like that. I am black, so I'm speaking from the black experience to black people, right? I feel like black people, we deserve to have those luxury material goods, those things, that money, to show it off, have fun with that. I feel like we deserve that.
Absolutely.
We're always put down for it. It's always an issue. Like, for example, y'all know, like, I do enjoy like really nice purses and bags and stuff like that. And like on Twitter 2 weeks ago, there was this whole debate, like, oh, y'all are too bougie for me, it's this and that. Y'all should be investing that money. Get an LLC. Why are you
Get an LLC.
Like, what the fuck? Only when black people get to enjoying something nice, luxurious, or going to a popular vacation spot. Oh, it's an issue. There's a discussion. There's controversy. Even so, for black readers, spiritualists, whatever, black people in general, but especially for the people in this community, I want you to have those things if that's what you want.
Get in your bag.
That's what I want for you, period. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, okay, so last thing about the community, it's growing. There are going to be cliques and stuff, but you're going to make a lot of friends. You're going to make a lot more friends. So whenever there are Aquarius transits going on, people tend to that's when you find your tribe, during Aquarius transit, because Aquarius represents that tribe. So a lot of y'all will be finding your tribe. Oh my gosh, like me and you.
I know. Oh.
Like, you guys, Aqua is actually in my 4th house, and Saturn is right smack on my my IC right now. You know, the IC is your 4th house, that home environment, right? So now I have found my tribe essentially right here at home. She is a 5-6 hour drive from me, but I'm willing to make that to be here with my tribe. Like, even my girlfriend, she was like, I'm really happy you found friends so you can, like, y'all, I can come over here and just talk astro and be like, well, Virgo, listen, and like,
we're just chilling, having a great time.
People who want to hear that shit, that's amazing. This is nice. This is really nice.
Oh,
like, this is not even for show. Also, y'all know we have Leo placements. Leo placements, we just fall in love real easy. It's just like, oh my god. But so you guys will be finding your tribe.
Yeah, and especially like with the stellium too, I feel like it's gonna be coming very quickly for people. Internet friends too. I was early on that wave because I was a stan before I really got into the spiritual community, but connect with people on social media. I've met so many friends through social media. I know people look at it, like especially the older generations, as something weird, but it's really not.
Yeah,
you can connect with amazing people, and also collaborate with your friends this year.
Your friends, with not a brand, not a big brand. You have friends.
Your friends, like, y'all can create magic together. Trust yourselves and let's get to work, y'all. Like, we're gonna do some great shit this year. So last thing that we're talking about, y'all,
Discernment
section,
and readers,
right? And also like just ethics and how to be accountable. But we're gonna talk about discernment first.
So like with discernment, so like for example, the drama from this past weekend, me and you were busy with each other, so we didn't really get into all that. But the drama from this past weekend was with Co-Star, right? People are, I think she did the lady who did Co-Star, she did her.
Chris Brennan interviewed her, and
it went up, it went live, didn't it? Did not go well.
The astrology girls are not happy.
And for good reason. I mean, she's pretty much full of shit. But I never really fucking with that shit. Using that bullshit.
That.
And then she uses a bullshit ass chart system. Now, I'm not trying to just, shit on this woman or anything. I'm just saying, like, that's just how I talk. Anyway, continuing on though, what I do want to say concerning discernment, there were people in the comments saying things like, oh, Co-Star sent out this notification and this just made me stay with like my abusive ex-boyfriend even longer. And it's,
are you serious?
Yeah, that was a real comment. I don't remember, that wasn't verbatim, but it was something like Co-Star said something, and whatever they said, it wasn't like, it wasn't just something, but whatever it was, the person was like, this made me stay with my abusive boyfriend longer or whatever. And it was like, So I'm not gonna make comments on that person, but what I will make is a comment towards you guys, and I want to say, you need to have discernment. You have to use your common sense. I have a 12th house Chiron. I understand that common sense is difficult. You don't gotta tell me. I already know. I understand. But there comes a point where you have to make large decisions for yourself, irregardless of what another thing or another person may be making it seem like. Doesn't matter.
Your twin flames coming tomorrow at 3:13 a.m. Like, no.
Shut the fuck up.
Like, no. You know what I mean? You know, it's using discernment. First of all, I talked about this a little bit before on my Twitter about what you personally believe, because not everything's gonna resonate with your belief system, with your practices, and that's okay. It's okay to scroll by things. I promise. And it's also okay to, you know, challenge things or have healthy conversation about it if it is something that you want to engage in. But at the end of the day, trust yourself and observe how you feel when you read these different things. And if it's just not sitting right with you, don't try to force yourself to believe that or to absorb that. You don't have to.
Right. And you can always come up with your own conclusions. People, they don't usually come up with their own conclusions. And I'm not just talking about interpretations, but I'm saying at the end, when all is said and done, come up with your own conclusions. And then speaking of that, remember, you guys, sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, some people are going to find out during these Aquarian transits, because, you know, remember I said Aqua is the group, it's our tribe, it's the group of people we fit in with.
Right.
A lot of y'all are going to find out you don't fit in here. And this is what I mean. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but this is what I mean. Hold on, I got to burp. We can leave that in. Look, people know I burp, okay? I be burping. I've been drinking wine. But anyway.
Champagne.
It's champagne. Champagne. So what I mean, I don't mean that in like, oh my gosh, you don't fit in, you can't sit. That's not what I mean. But spirituality, I feel like everybody cannot digest it daily. You might find that this spirituality and astrology, all this, you may find that it may not be able to be a daily thing for you. It may be something you need to only look at every now and again, because a lot of people in our community, they get scared very easily. They are easily frightened. Like, for example, I have one friend, she has a great Twitter account. She can tweet one thing, and then it can be something super simple. It doesn't have to be bad. It's not fear mongering. It's not anything. And then people are like, should I be worried? Oh my gosh, I'm anxious. And it's like,
seriously?
It's like that's not the feeling. Like you're gonna have to go outside. And I do understand that the mind is a crazy place. I do understand that. I understand that, you know, some people just get a little bit more anxious more easily than others. I understand that too. But if it's a recurring issue with all things spiritual, tarot, astrology, whatever, and you find that you have anxiety, you're scared of transits, you read something and it's got you fucked up, especially when most of that stuff, I promise you, it's not even bad. People just, it's okay to take a step back. It's okay to dabble in it a little bit. It's really okay. Or it could be that maybe astrology transits freak you out. That's okay. I'm not going to shame you for that. Maybe you just need to focus on something else. Maybe tarot is a lot easier for you. Maybe what's the other one? Some people don't use tarot for divination.
Oracle.
The solitaire cards, the
actual playing cards.
Yeah.
Some people use those, or like some people are just straight up mediums and they don't need cards and they can just channel shit.
Right, and it's okay if you have to choose one over the other because one makes you feel not as great. That's okay too. You can find your tribe, and you may not find the tribe here. That's okay. I had to learn my tribe isn't the astrologers who normally interact with each other on Twitter. My tribe is the people who actually who follow me, my supporters. And I'm not saying that like I only fuck with the people that support me. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying I don't really fit in with the other astrologers who are friends on here. Not really. And that used to make me feel away. You know, it is an exclusion. Aquarius does represent exclusion. And you know, I had to learn to be okay with that. I had to learn to get over that, and I had to learn to be more friends with my actual followers and supporters, people who wanted to support me. You know, not people who didn't know as much as me, and that's okay.
Right.
You know, and I'm just trying to, you know, give it to y'all from a raw experience.
So just find your way and find your tribe, and don't be afraid to like fail as well within this space if you're like looking into doing readings. Well, I mean, no. I don't mean it like that.
No. I meant your accent, because you said fail as well. Like she said, like we say fail. She's like,
I mean, yeah. Well,
it's the way you said it.
Because like I've failed a few times with it. And
It's the accent. No.
And I don't mean that in a negative way, but at the end of the day, we're not going to be successful in every single idea that we have. So don't get discouraged by that. Like, keep going. I'll fall, get right back up, and keep at it. Like, if something knocks you down, get back up.
Every post doesn't pop off.
That's just,
and that's okay. Even me, every post doesn't pop.
And that's okay.
Also, I used to think I was doing something wrong, because like there were certain accounts on Twitter. I'm cool with these accounts, so I'm just saying there were certain accounts, they would be gaining followers like crazy. And y'all, when I say gaining followers, when people hear the word followers and they think, I don't know what they think. There's a weird stigma about having followers.
It's like stands almost. Or people associated.
It's
like
weird
that.
because like somebody could be trying to argue with me, and the first thing they'll mention is, oh, I don't like people with a big following. Those people with big followers, and I'm like, I didn't ask for this. They want to know what I had to say. But anyway, continuing on. So when I say that, I just mean people who listen, right? Who want to listen to what you have to say. So there were other accounts who were growing really fast, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
I have that problem too.
And I'm like, my content is so good, and they're not even talking about what I'm talking about. I had to get over that, right? But what I realized, my audience is gonna grow slower compared to other accounts and other people, because I'm talking about things, I mainly talk about more advanced topics. You have to already know the basics, and then you jump into Jade's page. So it only makes sense that mine grows slower, because most people are beginners. So you have to understand your audience, why it is the way it is, where it's coming from, and it's up to you to curate it how you want it to be.
Right,
so
exactly.
I had to realize that was the type of audience that I formed without trying to, but that's what it is, and that's okay. It's okay. There are more people interested in the basics and the superficial than there are people interested in trying to dive all deep, and that's fine. It's totally fine.
Right, exactly. Okay, so lastly, we're going to talk about ethics and accountability, like what you were saying, how people can get, excuse me. So what you were saying, like how people can get really freaked out by certain, transits or just tweets that people make. So it's like, as a reader, how can we be more accountable or ethical to make sure that whatever we're doing, whatever we're tweeting is at the best interest of the people taking in our content? So yeah, like if we are saying that there are transits who, that may be like pretty much shitty or not as great, then how can we give people solutions to these problems? Or how can we elaborate on things so we're not freaking people out?
I always word my things in a certain way. Also, a lot of times people will tag me. Like, for example, my friend, I'm not going to say her name, but she tagged me in a tweet she made this morning. She was like, oh my gosh, I just realized that some asteroid is at the 18th degree. I think she meant in her chart, or it's there currently, I don't know. But the asteroid, she said that asteroid represents, I don't know, death and destruction and something. And she just made the correlation that asteroid was at the 18th degree. I don't know what sign though. But either way, if I retweet that, because she put my name in and she tagged me. If I retweet that, a tweet saying this scary ass asteroid is at the 18th degree, people see 18 and think they're about to die. I can't. Now that with me being irresponsible, that's irresponsible. I know my audience. I know how easily they freak out. I know they get anxious. So I can't retweet something like, no, that tweet, I didn't make it, but I can't retweet that and have all these people saying, what? Because then I got to deal with that. And I don't want people to be scared anyway. So you have to be responsible with your platform in that way. So I think, with that being said, there are individualized ways to be responsible with a platform. Me retweeting that is different from you retweeting, because you retweeted, I mean, whatever. But I just know for me personally, that's not what I can do for my audience. So it's definitely up to your individual audience, I feel.
Right, exactly. And it's like, as long as we are being tactful in our delivery, I think that is the best way to go. And as long as we're very clear about what we're saying, where we're getting our information, like I said, and like what our practices are, because sometimes like sidereal and tropical, like they're not gonna be the same, and people don't even know that they're looking at two completely different systems. So just those little pieces of clarity can really change things up in what people are taking in, so they don't feel as anxious or fearful, because spiritual work and astrological work, it's not always going to be cherries and roses, and it's not gonna be like a walk in the park always. There are gonna be difficult things that come up, but is that not life? Life is a series of choices and challenges. Right.
And with that being said, if you are somebody who doesn't like the dark side of astro, you don't want to hear every day how it's not all cherries, you are allowed. It's okay if you don't want to hear that bullshit. That's why I try to put trigger warnings, or on my Patreon I'll put dark posts or extra posts.
That's so good.
Because when I was learning astrology, I came up reading a lot of different Vedic websites, and it's known that Vedic astrology is a lot more fatalistic.
Vedic is whoo.
It's fatalistic. So there were times where I was just subjected to reading something totally morbid. Before I had known it, I read a sentence that said, yeah, this placement tends to die at 30. You know, bullshit. I'm just exaggerating. But I'd just be like, whew. So now I try to give people a heads up if I say something that may potentially be a little scary. And, you know, it's okay if you don't want to see that. And if you do want to see, there's a place for that on my Patreon. Yeah. Just one more point. Only last point, we just forgot to touch on it.
Go ahead.
So, you guys, I want you to remember that whenever you're getting a reading from me or anybody, number one, this is the standard that I want you to hold all your readers to. Are you ready for this? Hold all your readers to the human standard.
Oh my God. We're humans?
This is, yes, we are. Your skin, your nose. Oh my gosh. Wait, let me hear your heart. She's alive!
Oh my God.
She's alive!
Why are we like this?
Hold your readers to a human standard, okay? So what does that mean? It means I'm gonna get things wrong. She's gonna get things wrong. Nobody can be 100% accurate. You know, that's the risk it is when you do a reading of any kind for yourself, or if you're getting it from somebody else. We are not God. I am not God. I'm a bad bitch, but you know I ain't God. So with that being said, also, if you have a problem during a reading, this used to be a big issue.
Just tell the reader.
2019, 2018, everybody used to get quote unquote exposed. If somebody had a bad experience with you, now, this didn't happen to me, thank God. But my customer service skills are A1.
You do.
But thank you. I try. Virgo Venus tends to have top-notch customer service. But anyway, if there was a bad reading back then, oh, you're getting blasted. Somebody's going to screenshot and they're going to be like this, and the reader has to come in. Now you're going to argue now. They're followers, and then it's a lot of bullshit.
Right.
That doesn't really happen a lot anymore. I rarely see that happen anymore. But still, people probably still, have little thoughts or something. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, during your reading, it's okay to express to your reader, hey, I feel like I didn't really get a lot out of this. Or, hey, I think you gave me a lot, but I don't understand it. Or, I felt like this was rushed. There wasn't enough time. What can we do about this? You are allowed, during the reading, give the reader a chance to rectify the problem. That's what I'm saying.
Be honest. Be honest with your reader, because a lot of times the readers will be completely open to fixing those issues.
They should be open to it. There was this one time in 2018, I can be honest about the mistakes I've made as a reader. When I first started out, I was getting used to doing readings, charging, and that was when I was first discovering just how exhausting it is to do a reading for someone, right? So there was this one time I gave this girl, it was a typed reading. Now, I don't do typed readings anymore. Most people don't, because when you're doing a typed reading,
so much.
You need to be able to interact with the client while looking at their chart. I don't recommend... It's okay if you do, but I don't recommend, if you're trying to get into it, getting the client's chart and just making essentially what's assumptions about their chart. I like to just have a conversation, and then we go through the chart from there. But anyway, back then I didn't used to do that because I didn't really know that thought never occurred to me. So I used to type the readings out real cute on a Word document, whatever it was. And so one time I was sleeping. I was tired, and this reading ended up being half-assed, and I was wrong for that, and I can admit that I was just starting out, and that's not an excuse. That was bad business, though. I'll tell you one thing, it never happened again, but I'm okay to admit that. Also, so what happened is, I also was just learning how to manage the money that comes from Astro. So back then, the girl paid me, and then later on she asked for a refund. I had spent the money. My savings used to be bad, so I had already spent the money. So I was like, I don't have anything to give you, but I can redo it. I can add to it. I did try to rectify the situation. She didn't want to do that. So anyway, 2 years later, she comes up and she's like, let me get that refund now. I gave her the refund. I try to emphasize good business. I remember that reading. I remember I was sleepy when I did it, and I can admit that things do happen. Things happen. We are human, and they will happen. And I'm not saying that everything that happens, we should just throw the human excuse on it. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the reader should rectify it, and that's what I did, and that's what I expect other people to do.
Absolutely.
Also, if you want to learn more about how these Aquarius transits are going to affect you in the long run, I did do a video about the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. That energy is going to be in place for the next 20 years. Say it again with me. It's going to be in place for the next 20 years. I do have that video on my Patreon. If you would like to support me, I would love for you to sign up and watch the video. And I literally have, 200 other posts full of information, videos, other shit. Look at that shit.
Hey.
And then Ty,
my readings are open right now.
readings are open right now.
Yep, I have glimpse into 2021 readings, which will actually be leaving my shop at the end of this month. Oh, we looking. And then I also have natal chart readings, but those are leaving my shop this month because I'm focusing on life purpose readings and business strategizing. So yeah, like if you want to come check out like your business and have me look at your chart and see how you can best utilize the astrology that you have to create more success in your business, or if you want to look at your life purpose and see how you can really get in alignment, hit me up.
Notice what she did too. She is sizing down into a niche. Instead of just saying natal chart reading, she's saying, you know what, I'm better at pinpointing this in a chart than trying to figure out what to look at as a whole in the chart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So for those of y'all going for it, whether it be tarot, astrology, numerology, whatever, pinpoint a niche. Find a subject matter that you are good at, utilizing those spiritual or occult gifts, and market that. Do your niche. Okay, like remember all of a sudden I stopped doing natal chart readings 2 years ago and I started focusing on horror. I had a niche. Boom. Like man,
You're still fucking good at that.
horror? I gave you horror before?
No,
Oh.
I've just seen I've seen the ones that
seen
you've
my
done.
tweets.
Yeah, they're so good.
Thank you.
But yeah, so overall, guys, that is our analysis basically of the astro and spiritual community, how things have developed over time, what it looks like now, what we see coming in different ways to be ethical, accountable, and also how to use discernment when you're looking at all of this great content as we continue to grow as a community. Check us out. Subscribe to Jade's YouTube.
Subscribe to my Patreon, girl. I don't even be-
Subscribe to her Patreon.
my YouTube is full of videos, but you can't see it because they're they're unlisted links.
Well, I mean, I can see them because I'm subscribed to
You're
her Patreon.
subscribed to it. I didn't know that. I wonder, but I didn't want to ask and be like, "Are you on my Patreon?"
Yeah, I'm subscribed.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
Follow me on Twitter. Follow
her
me
on
on
Twitter.
Instagram. Ho, no one cares. It's gonna be in the description.
She'll have all that linked.
All of
Period.
that,
It's all gonna be
and
linked.
we'll see you guys.
Thank you.
More's coming.